Alright. Welcome back to ProFilmmakers. It's so nice to see you lovely filmmakers out there. My name is Dražen Štader. I'm a professional director cinematographer, and with today's show, I have a special pleasure to take you behind the scenes of one of our latest web and TV commercials. Our production company, Studio Production House, was recently approached by the commercial TV station Planet TV in order to produce and direct a new TV promo for the upcoming season of their hit quiz show, Millionaire. The TV show Millionaire is already a very well-established franchise, and with this new promo, our main goal was to introduce this season's new TV host, the talented Jure Godler. I had a chance to work with Godler on several occasions before, which made my job as a director and DOP of this project much easier. Godler is an amazingly talented actor, and it is an absolute pleasure to work with him. I was given a pretty polished script, and all we had to do in terms of script writing was to adjust the fine details. Basically, the main storyline follows our hero's journey from his backstage preparations all the way to him entering the stage and opening this year's season of the show with a tiny little comedy twist mixed in. Comedy is something that comes naturally when related to Godler's public persona, since he's still hosting a weekly news comedy show that has its own excellent YouTube channel. I will leave the link below. So, are you ready for your weekly dose of Pro Filmmakers tips and tricks? Great! Without further delay, let's dive in for some cinematic goodness. But first, make sure to subscribe to our channel and scratch that notification bell as well. Alright, all scratched in? Nice! Let's dive into this new cinematic episode of the Pro Filmmakers Zone. In this episode, you will learn how to go from this, which is our location scale photography, to this, which is the finished still that was made on a shooting day. When approaching any project as a director and DOP, I always ask myself and our clients, what is the feeling and the mood that we want to achieve? Throughout the years, I learned how to paint with light in many different ways, and for this TV commercial, we decided to create a moody X-Files type of cinematic experience. This look is something I completely adore, however, that is also something that can be applied to every single project that we do. In terms of production design, with our production designer Roke, we decided to go for a very simplistic approach that truly reflects the character of the TV host. For example, we decided that he will have an old typewriting machine on his desk, and this is something Jure is still using in his real life when he is writing his novels. I mean, I told you he was a super cool dude, didn't I? I decided to shoot this project on a Red Dragon 6K cinema camera and to bring two of them on the shooting set, since I wanted to have one on the dolly and one on the Movie Pro. That would be used in combination with our Kessler crane in order to get those super cinematic overhead shots. Cameras were equipped with Teradek wireless monitoring and Tilta wireless focus systems to provide the client with reference picture without the hassle and dealing with all the cables. In terms of lighting and rigging, I wanted to have a very distinct overhead backlight that would hit our main subject and separate him from the background. That's why we used the big overhead boom that allows me to reach enough height and distance to hit the right spot. I always love to prepare my shot lists and camera position in advance. Sometimes I use dedicated apps, and on occasions, like this one, I like to make simple illustrations just by hand. Because this is a quiz show that relies on being precise and exact, I wanted the camera moves to have that quality as well, and that's the reason I decided to go with the dolly. Despite I love using gimbals in many situations, there is still nothing that beats the precision of a nice dolly move. Do you agree? In terms of composition, I decided to play with the rule of symmetry, especially in the beginning, and that's why I decided to place two Astera Titan LED tubes to create an additional sense of visual balance and also to create more depth in the frame. I love using the Astera Titan tubes since they can act as a source of light and also add production design element into the shot at the same time. Having the right props is crucial. No matter what kind of project that you do, we paid attention to create a sense of deep learning by adding enough books and notebooks onto our character's working desk. Just prior to the beginning of the shoot, I decided to remove those bright shiny highlighters because they didn't quite fit into the overall design of the shots. Since I decided to cover our opening master scene using a wide variety of camera angles and lenses, I took the time to explain our main hero everything in detail. Godler is extremely exact about every single little action and that he has to perform, and it's always great to work with someone like him. After taking the first couple of shots, I always take the time to watch the replay and analyze if there is anything that needs to be improved. Nailing the first shot of the day is vital, since it sets the mood for everything else that will follow. Once we got the opening doughy shots in the can, it was time to get some overhead delicious cinematic shots. I love to combine our Movie Pro freebie gimbal with our Kessler crane. This combination allows me to get precise, very graphic overhead shots. We did a couple of variations in terms of sizes of the frames. We got the medium and some beautiful overhead close-ups. When we moved from back shots to front shots, I kept the logistics of the lights pretty much intact. The only difference was that I softened the aperture 300D with a frame of frost diffusion and added a key light. We went back to the dolly and kept the dynamics of the opening shots, since I knew the opening editing tempo had to be really fast-paced and filled with moving shots. For the key light, I used an Ori SkyPanel S60 with a huge DOP choice Octa softbox. This beautiful key light was motivated with the office lamp that was placed on a working desk. This little lamp was the perfect excuse to go with some warm key light from the Ori SkyPanel, which is balanced at 3200 kelvins and created a sense of warmth and likability of the main character. I always like to create a sense of freedom on a shooting set and try things out, especially when it comes to performance. Here we made fun on how it would look like if Arnold Schwarzenegger was pumping weights, but instead of real weights, he would use books instead. Obviously, this is something that directly relates to the quiz show itself, because knowledge can make you a millionaire. Right, Arnie? Yeah. For every major scene, I always like to have enough coverage, meaning multiple angles and various lens choices in order to open up and leave enough creative options in the edit room. In terms of storytelling, this was an important scene because this is the moment when our hero is hearing voices of all the previous hosts of the same show, and he's confronting his inner demons in a meaningful and also funny way. In terms of lighting, I went for some deep blacks and an extremely sidey type of lighting on the hero's face in order to create more tension and drama. I kept the strong backlight highlights and added a couple of additional Titan tubes to add depth into the shot. For the last final scene, we used the stage of the show. I discussed in detail with the show's main lighting technician what are the key points that we want to capture. All the lights were already programmed, and all I had to do was decide on the intensity and the right cues for the lights. For the entrance shot, I switched to an easy rig with a Flow Cine Serene arm and a freebie Movie Pro, which is my tool of choice when it comes to nailing moving control shots on the go. I went for a backlight type of entrance using the show's moving heads. This type of light completely matched the mood and the feeling of what we have seen before. Since we wanted to create a hyped up audience, light TV show feeling, we made sure to get some B-roll shots of the crowd cheering. For the closing shot, I had a small cinematography dilemma. Leave the lighting on the host as it is in the show, or tweak it a little bit and add some additional cinematic quality to it. At the end, I decided to stay true to the show because we were rolling two cameras simultaneously, the wide shot and the close-up, and we were rolling also out of time. We spent 12 hours shooting this whole promo, and here is the final result.
Myslíte, ali vy jste?
Je to váš záměr zavod?
No, nikár tako. Jdora. Millionaire.
Z Juretom Godlerjem. Od ponedeljka 2. marca dalje ob 20. na Planetu.
In case you would like to see the full lighting diagram of the opening scene, I have included a free downloadable PDF in the link below. If you have any additional questions, please leave them in the comments below. How do you like this type of cinematography breakdown content? If you enjoy it and find it valuable, feel free to subscribe to our channel. This show was powered by Studio Production House, a video agency specialized in helping brands grow with the power of the online video, and Pro Video Rentals, a super video rental company providing us with all the latest video tech. Dear filmmakers, make sure to stay inspired and shoot the stuff that you love. And always remember, no matter what happens on a shooting set, we're gonna ride like it's alright. Thanks for watching our show. Stay creative, stay strong, and I will see you next week in the new episode of the ProFilmmakers Zone.